Volatility is back. Can't wait to get into September. The summer doldrums will be over and market bank traders will be in full force. Welcome back, everyone. Tom from Park Avenue Trading, your chief dealer, keeping you sane in insane markets. We're going to have the weekly update for you right now. We got volatility is going to get really back in. September kicks off with non-farm payrolls, inflation data, central banks on deck. Major FX pairs right now are coiling tight, ready to rip. We got euro dollar testing resistance. We got dollar yen right now that's coiling. It's kind of slightly heavy right now, but it hasn't broken down completely. So the dollar's still holding up against yen. We got sterling yen sitting at crucial decision points. So let's dive right into it. All right. So we're going to be starting off with the euro dollar. It's hovering right around 117, the figure. Let's get into some critical levels of the euro dollar for the upcoming week. All right. Looking at the euro dollar right now, as it stands, there is obviously the resistance at the 118.30 upper level. But right now, the levels of resistance sit at 117.30. And really, I'm going to say, let me look at my volatility levels here. Where's my volatility level? Okay, so we got 117.90. So I'm going to move this up. I'm going to give it a little bit of room. So let's go up to 117.93 this week. All right, so if we could get through 117.93, it means the euro's catching a little bit of bid, but it's got that 118, say 35 level that I would have to overcome to actually show that it's still in an upward bullish movement, and that it needs to have momentum behind it as well. So as it stands right now for the weekend, I got to come and look at my daily videos because I'll give you the daily points that we got to hold. Now we have a holiday in the United States, so it's going to be Asia open, New York out, London probably not too busy. Um, Probably at the pub as well, waiting for everything to really kick off on Tuesday. So right now, as it stands, if we look structurally at the euro dollar, the most important point that has to hold if we come down from this peak to valley is this 116, 115. Let's go 115.70 to 116, the figure level has to hold. If that level breaks, structure is basically breaking down, saying that the euro dollar actually could trade back down to like 114. So that's the most important line in the stand to keep the euro dollar structurally strong. A break of 118.40 would actually show, yeah, it's gaining momentum. So at that point, things would change and I have to readjust to where the support point would be. It would be really very, very close to this level. It wouldn't be, too different. But right now, the euro dollar is not, it hasn't caught full bid, but it's not cooling off either. It's just consolidating, waiting for the next move, the next volatility that we could have in the marketplace. If we come over and we look at the euro dollar versus the DAX, right? As it stands right now, US dollar index slightly above the support at 97.73. If that takes a dump, downward, where, the dollar index is going down, primarily probably through dollar yen, well, we can see euro dollar catch a little bit of a bid. But if you don't see euro dollar catching a bid with that, it means it's structurally weak. So it's all going to depend on which way the cross goes, the euro yen goes. Okay, so if dollar yen takes a dump downward and euro dollar doesn't really do much, or it goes up a little bit, but not in proportion to what dollar yen is doing. It means that euro dollar itself is kind of structurally weak and euro yen is heading down. We'll get into that cross later, but that's what we got going on for the euro dollar. The most important points on the week are that one, say 16, the figure, and I would say the first punch through 117.90 could probably rally us up to 118, say like that level up there. There's a monster resistance up there. I'll show you that resistance. Look at this. Let's go find it. Let's go find that 118.30. Where is it? Let me pause this so you don't have to watch the chart move. It was that 118.30 right there. And then we had the breakdown of the euro dollar to 113. So that point is right now solid. If the marketplace can break up through that point, it's actually showing euro dollar can get back up to like 120, 121. So we'll take that one step at a time. We don't want to get too ahead of our skis. But let's move on over to good old sterling yen. Sterling yen. All right. So let's go to a longer term chart for the week itself. All right. Sterling yen. In order to really show any type of strength this week, it's got to get above like 199.60. That's what it has to do. Now, at this level, now this is a daily level, so let me move this up. 199.60 would be the level that it needs to get through, and it's going to have some resistance up there, as you can see. Look, there's the 200 levels, that psychological level that it would need to also overcome to show full bullish tendency. Right now, it's just consolidating, just kind of like euro yen is doing right now. So again, you got to get to the daily analysis because then I'll give you the points. But as it stands right now, we had this minor valley that came down. We broke through the minor valley. We didn't take out this bottom. So that's actually showing there was some buyers down here. So it's got to get through that 199, 60 level to show any type of strength. And like I said, just come over to the daily analysis and I'll guide you through on the daily analysis. Now, tomorrow, um, I'm not going to be doing much because it's you know, the holiday, right? And bankers, New York bankers aren't in, but London might be a little bit busy. I'll see if I can do something, get some points out there for the mid market London, end of market London to set the stage up for our New York's comeback on Tuesday. All right, so right now, sterling yen, most important point on the week. Let's move it up. Let's move it up to. Let's give it a little bit more room. Let's go 199.80. It's got to get through 199.80. It also has to hold this level down here at 197.80. So if it breaks 197.80, you can expect it to drift lower, be potentially like 196.50. But we'll handle that when it happens. It hasn't happened yet. So let's move over to good old dollar yen. Dollar yen on the week. All right. So this one has been pretty difficult to trade straight up. And for me anyway, this week. Okay. I had signals both long and short on the thing, and each one didn't work really. I didn't really lose too much, but it was confusing, and I think it had a lot to do with like the holiday or like traders not really being in the market place. Hang on, let me take a swig of this Black Rifle coffee. Okay, so as it stands right now, the most important point we got dollar yen that needs to hold this week is actually sitting at 146.20 right there. That's the most important point this week. It has to hold. Now, it has to get above right now. It's got to get above like short term, like 147.45 ish. Now, look what we did. We came up, we popped it. We went up to 147.41 and we came off a little bit. But really, right now, it's coiling. And if we look at structure itself, we have this new peak to valley. So the first warning this week is if we broke down through this low, we'll be attacking this low, which is really very, very close. It's not that far away. So for all intents and purposes, you could use this low as the warning that is going to try to attempt the 146.20 this week. Uh, if the 146.20 goes, you're really looking at like 145.75-ish, something like that. I mean, we'll get into it when it happens. But the only real way it shows strength right now, if it takes out this peak from this new valley that we have, okay, which is sitting right at 148.15. So that would be the first indication that dollar yen could be turning back up. All right. So let's move on over to good old sterling dollar. This is the one, man. This thing, peak to valley. has done nothing. A new short term, this is a 4-hour chart, obviously, a new short term kind of lower peak to higher valley actually means kind of like nothing because it's actually being contained by this high and this low. So we nailed this low perfectly in the past. Told you there was support 133.80. By being above like 134.80, it's showing somewhat of a slightly bearish tone, but it's not in full. There's not real much headwinds behind it. So we got to be cautious of that 134.80. If it holds this week, we could be looking at like 136, 135.94. A confirmation of that would be, a break above like 135, say 135.50, and then use that as a support to take us up to like 136. There's a lot of resistance up at 136. And again, we'll handle that. So right now, the two most important points on the week cable are that 133.90 as a support, and your first one, 135, say 50-ish, and 135.94 right behind it. All right, let's move on over to good old Euro Yen. Did I do Sterling Yen? Yeah, I did Sterling Yen. Okay, yeah, let's go Euro. Did I do Sterling Yen? I think I did. Okay, let's go over to Euro Yen. Pretty sure I covered Sterling Yen. All right, so here's Euro Yen. I don't want to draw here. All right, Euro Yen. All right, 172.18. We went down to 171.11. Okay. In order for it to show strength this week, it does have to get through this 172.17, and then it's got resistance right up at like 172.60, 173, the figure. The most important point that it's got to hold this week is really 171, the figure. 171.10, 171, the figure. So if it breaks that, it's showing some structural weakness, trading back down towards, like, say, 170.55, and potentially even opening up 169, like 80 again. But as we said, we got a lot of stuff that's coming out this week that we got to be agent of. So, as it stands right now, it's really stuck in a range, and it's really bugging me. I don't remember if I did sterling dollar. Yeah, I talked about this peak to value 198.75. Yes, I said, yep, I did talk about this. All right, so euro yen is is coiling in between, let's say, this high and this low right now. So it's just doing this. All right. Now, a breakout upward from here could take us up to like 172.65 before it could hit resistance. Now, it would need to use this point as support if it's truly in an upward movement. So, again, that's another one that we have to, pay attention to. What is this? Confirm? No, I don't want that. I want this thing. Get rid of this thing. All right. So, that's what we got going on right now in the crosses. Again, we got a lot of stuff that's going to be happening um, in this week. Just remove them. Yep. We got a lot of stuff that's going to be happening this week. So you got to stay on your toes. Make sure you come in for the daily analysis. In the video below, the description, you can actually get yourself a free ebook and video series on price breakouts. Really cool little scientific way to look at things. And remember, always, 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 as a short-term trader, enjoy the party, but dance near the door. I'll see you probably Monday morning, and then Tuesday we'll be back in full swing. Cheers.